Ray Thompson made the stop.
Yeah, well played by Ray Thompson, because the Chargers like to run this play. They like to run the screen. And what you have to do defensively is you have to split the blockers. So you're going to see Thompson out here in the flat. And when he sees the blockers, he gets up underneath them and makes that play.
Now 2nd and 7 from the 47-yard line. Flutie with the quick slant, caught for a first down by Jeff Graham down to the Cardinals 40. Tom Knight made the tackle after a gain of 13 yards.
And a well-thrown ball by Doug Flutie. We talked about Tommy Knight playing soft. He's a little soft on this, and Flutie goes right after him with a quick slant pass. Cardinals said last night that the most important thing for them was to keep Doug Flutie out of his rhythm. He's not had a rhythm in the last 3 games. They don't want to let him get started today.
From the Cardinals 41, Flutie to the air on first down, looking for Conway, and the pass floats out of bounds. Corey Chavis on the coverage.
Chargers did a nice job up front giving Doug Flutie protection. Arizona comes with 5. He's got all the time in the world. And again, we see that the pass on this play is just off base. And Conway really, I think, has the inside position on Chavis. But you see the safety coming over. Kwame Lassiter, 42 there. That's what Doug Flutie saw. So he threw to the outside rather than the inside.
On 2nd and 10, Tomlinson bounces it to the outside. And he was down before the fumble. Tomlinson down inside the 31-yard line, a gain of 11. And a Chargers first down.
Before, and on this play here, you get to see moves and speed. He takes it, he draws the defense, and now he cuts to the outside, and then you see that speed and the drive. And he falls on Jeff Graham's leg, and Jeff Graham is still. Chargers out. Tim Dwight already out of action, and Freddie Jones, the tight end, who figures highly in the passing game, is out.
Tomlinson, gain of 3 yards down to the 27. Doug Flutie compared it to the '99 season in Buffalo, when the Bills struggled without both Eric Moulds and tight end Jay Remersma.
That's right. We talked about Doug Flutie being under pressure in previous games. We talked about his receivers not getting good separation from the defensive backs. But we didn't talk about until now the absence of Tim Dwight, who's very effective as a 3rd down receiver, and especially Freddie Jones, who is a tremendous receiving tight end.
Trevor Gaylor and Patrick Pateau in the game at wideout as Tomlinson is close to another. He's averaging nearly 6 yards per carry today. 3rd and short. Tomlinson picks up the first down. Down to the 17-yard line of the Cardinals. Ronald McKinnon made the tackle.
Well, Tomlinson runs through McKinnon, but also Fred McCrary gets a nice lead block. Watch McCrary right here, and he blocks out, and he just buries Tom Knight. And that gives Tomlinson a big space with which to run through.
Tomlinson gained over 100 yards on the ground in 3 of his first 4 games this season as a rookie, but has not reached that mark in the last 6. From the 17, Tomlinson stopped by the rookie out of Illinois, Fred Wakefield.
The one thing that you will get from this Cardinals defense is a tremendous amount of effort. I mean, Fred Wakefield was an undrafted free agent, but he's a smart guy who's studying to be a doctor, and he's a determined guy. And last week he caught himself a touchdown pass late in the game. Kwame Lassiter came on a blitz and knocked the ball up in the air. Wakefield just held his hands out, caught it, ran it all the way into the end zone. These guys up front for the Cardinals will never stop coming at you.
2 rookies starting it in today for Arizona. Wakefield and Fahey. Flutie on 2nd down, complete to Conway inside the 10, down to the 9. Tom Knight made the tackle after a gain of 8 yards.
This is the kind of separation that a receiver can give a quarterback to make his numbers look good. We talked about Doug Flutie not having the great numbers, but over the last 3 games, watch Conway here. He just sets right up in the zone. I mean, this is a very well executed play by Curtis Conway. He drives the coverage deep, he sets up, and makes it easy for Doug Flutie to complete this pass.
Last week against Oakland, Flutie did not complete a pass to a wide receiver until the 4th quarter. He has 3 so far today. Flutie saw something he did not like, forced to call timeout. They need to get to the 7 for a first down. Tomlinson brought down by Kwame Lassiter, close to the marker. Looked like Tomlinson tried to reach across.
The ball popped out of there, but LaDainian Tomlinson, when he stretches out, of course, the ground cannot cause a fumble, and I think his knee was down. So it's really going to come down to where, see where the ball is when his knee is down. It's a nice tackle by Kwame Lassiter.
Here come the chains. And with Bennett holding, Ritchie, the former San Francisco 49er, looks to give the Chargers the lead. A 26-yard attempt. Ritchie's kick is wide right. His 8th miss of the year. Ritchie just 20 of 28 on the season. We remain scoreless in San Diego. Wade Ritchie wide right from 26 yards out. So we remain scoreless. Ritchie chatting with his holder, Darren Bennett.
I think Ritchie just pushed that kick. I don't think there was anything wrong with the snap or the hold.
Now Jake Plummer and the Cardinals back to work from his own 20. Pass incomplete, intended for the fullback Joel Makovic.
I mean, keeping Brady in there was the right thing for the Patriots to do. We're listening to him, JB. We're listening to Terry.
Michael Pittman forced back on 2nd down by Orlando Ruff. Jimmy Kimmel picking on JB a little bit this morning.
Yeah, that was the first time I've seen Jimmy Kimmel do that. It didn't go over well. You don't pick on JB.
But it did not seem to faze JB at all.
No, he's
cool under pressure.
Unflappable, absolutely. And Jake Plummer needs to be unflappable on this play because it's a known passing situation, and the Chargers have an excellent pass rush.
4 wide receivers set. Plummer on 3rd and 10. Off the fingertips of Pittman, picked off by Gerald Dixon. First interception of the year for Dixon.
Jake Plummer under pressure by that Chargers front 4. He feels the pressure, the pocket starts to constrict, and instead of running it, he tries to dump the ball to Pittman, but this is not Jake Plummer's fault. Pittman should have caught that ball and had a small gain, but instead he dishes it up for Dixon. See, but that's one where, Jake Plummer used to run that ball in that situation and pick up a lot of yards, and I think part of his re-education as a quarterback took that part of his game away from him. And I think they may have flattened off a little bit, but today they're running the ball well again.
Floating to the fullback, Fred McCrary, a gain of only 2 yards down to the Cardinals 19. Ray Thompson made the tackle.
Well, Kenny, we're being told that Jeff Graham, the Chargers wide receiver, has a thigh bruise, and it is questionable whether or not he will return. And when you talk about, there he is keeping it warm, trying to loosen it up on the bike. And just for everyone to know, when you hear probable, that means you got a 75% chance of playing or returning. When it's questionable, it's 50-50. When it's doubtful, it's 25% that you will, 75% that you won't.
And 3 wideouts in on 2nd and 13. Flutie to Tomlinson. Down to the Arizona 14-yard line. Thompson and McKinnon with the tackle, a gain of 5 as we check in once again with JB.
Kenny, with 8:16 left in the game, Miami trailed 27-17 to Buffalo, but battled back and won it on this play. Look at that pass from Taylor to Chris Chambers, the rookie. They win it 34-27. Back to Kenny Albert. And Tim, we know you always listen, buddy.
Hey, man, you guys are the best. It's fun to listen to. We'll even talk about cutting horses later on in the broadcast here.
And a big comeback by the Miami Dolphins. Flutie to Tomlinson again on 3rd and 8, and he is stopped short. Fans were not happy, Tim, that the Chargers did not go for it the last time. They want Mike Riley to go for it again, but he will not as he sends out the field goal unit.
LaDainian Tomlinson wants to go for it as well. So we talked about Tomlinson's hands. Watch him. He just runs a little angle route. He comes out and he breaks in. Watch him catch. He does a nice job. Nice soft hands. But Ronald McKinnon does a nice job of tackling Tomlinson and preventing the first down. So good tackling by the Cardinals defenders, and that one just went through.
26-yard field following the interception, but could muster only 3. Marte Jenkins back deep for the Cardinals. Richie's kickoff is taken at the 9-yard line by Jenkins. Brings it out to the 30, a 21-yard return. Robert Carswell with the special teams tackle, including Sanders on first down along with Jenkins and Boston. Quick drop, and the pass is caught out at the 37-yard line by David Boston for a gain of 8. Tay Cody coming up to make the tackle. Well, Fox tonight, for the first time on television, it's Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom. No.
Yeah, your daughter's a little young for it, but I got to see it several times.
Michael Pittman picks up the first down after the 41-yard line, but I did see R2-D2 on the pregame show with Jimmy Kimmel.
I did too. Hey, Cardinals, I think, did what they needed to do. They came out, they put the ball in David Boston's hands. Now they're getting the Chargers thinking about, hey, we've got to defend these wide receivers. They come right back with the run with Michael Pittman. The Cardinals need to throw the ball to open up the run. It's the exact opposite of what most offenses do.
From the 41-yard line, Michael Pittman bottled up on the final play of the first quarter. The middle linebacker Orlando Ruff made the stop. 15 minutes in the books from San Diego. Chargers with a 3-0 lead over the Cardinals. Chargers leading the Cardinals 3-0 as we welcome you back, Kenny Albert, along with Tim Green. The story of that first quarter for the Chargers, missed opportunities.
Yeah, because they're able to run the ball and they're able to throw the ball. Flutie is 8 for 10 of 40 for about 47 yards. So they've had success moving it, but they're just not able to punch it into the end zone. And I think you have to credit the Cardinals defense because they're a tenacious bunch. As we said, they've had a mixed lineup all season long. And I think offensively for the Cardinals, they need to continue what they started, which is throwing the ball to David Boston, get that ball to the wide receivers, and attack a young secondary for the Chargers.
Second down and 11. Plummer to Boston. First down and more. Down to the Chargers' 44-yard line. Jason Perry made the tackle after a gain of 15 yards.
Here, David Boston is working on Tay Cody, who's a rookie, and we talked about that inexperience, and you see him, he just drives Cody upfield, and he breaks right towards the center of the field where you've got Jason Perry, the free safety there, 31, who's another inexperienced player. So that's a matchup that the Cardinals are going to want to continue to exploit.
From the Chargers 45, play action, Plummer in trouble, and he's taken down. Junior Seau with his second sack of the season.
And that's the kind of fuel the Cardinals did not want to put on this aggressive defensive fire that is supercharged by Junior Seau. Steve Bush, the tight end, is trying to block Seau, and it just isn't going to happen. And look what happens downfield. You know, David Boston's got the seam on Ryan McNeil. If only Seau isn't all over Jake Plummer.
Three wide receivers in for the Cardinals. Second down and 17. Plummer with time. Pass again deflects off Pittman, the intended receiver.
Yeah, it's time to throw it to the wideouts. I mean, it's working, and now they're going back to Pittman, and he really cost San Diego. He cost Arizona the only points of the game when he had another pass go through his hands, and it was intercepted by Gerald Dixon. So if a guy's having an off day, and Pittman is, because that ball was thrown right to him, then I think you just stop throwing it to him.
Pittman returning home, grew up here in San Diego, attended Mira Mesa High School.
Comes the blitz.
3rd and 17. Plummer was under pressure, and the pass is nearly picked off by Tay Cody. Intended for
would have cost me a couple milkshakes had BC won.
A big victory for the Orange men, and Tim Green with a couple of Doug Flutie side hats as Tomlinson gains 2 yards on first down. Well,
and the Bears have got a tremendous runner, a rookie runner.
The A-Train.
Anthony Thomas, the A-Train, who's phenomenal and a lot of fun to watch.
Flutie on second down, hits Tomlinson. And LaDainian is forced out of bounds at the 31-yard line by Zach Walls.
That is the 5th catch for LaDainian Tomlinson. He's replaced. Normally, Terrell Fletcher is the guy who's catching these passes out of the backfield, but Tomlinson, you know, he told us last night, he said he's got the hands, and he has proven it. He's caught everything that's been thrown to him, and he's done a nice job. He's becoming a part of this balanced attack for the Chargers that has enabled them to move up and down the field, but not put it into the end zone yet.
And Fletcher bothered by an ankle injury today. Play action on 3rd and 4. Flutie to Jeff Graham back in the game. First down in Cardinals territory at the Arizona 48, a gain of 20 yards.
This is a nice play by the San Diego Chargers, a nicely designed play, because what happens, Curtis Conway goes deep, and so he draws the safeties so that Jeff Graham only has Corey Chavis to contend with. So he breaks across the center, and there you see Adrian Wilson, the safety, coming in late. He was drawn back into the backfield because of the speed of Curtis Conway.
Graham had only 1 catch the last 2 weeks. He has 2 for 35 yards in the first half today.
How about Flutie's efficiency? 10 for 12 so far.
And for the 6th time, Flutie's pass is caught by Tomlinson.
You see Tomlinson? I love that. He kind of like laid it up like, all right, I'm just going to come out of bounds, and pow! You know, he hits Kwame Lassiter, and he shows what he's made of. I mean, what a wonderful kid, too. I mean, you love talking to him. He's the kind of, you know, he signs his contract, he buys his mom a car and a house, and out here, he's just playing tough football. See it? He makes it like, all right, I'm just going to go out, and then bam, blast Kwame Lassiter for another yard.
And then his mom immediately went out and purchased a Chargers sticker for that car.
That's right.
Tomlinson still on his feet down to the 36-yard line. Picks up the first down, gains 4 yards.
Well, if nothing else, the Chargers have got to be wearing down this Cardinals defense with the time of possession. Chargers almost at 14 minutes on the clock as compared to Arizona's 5 minutes. There you see it right there. And if they continue to do that, what you do through the game is the running game, which is working well, just gets better and better.
And Tomlinson already with 17 touches, 11 carries, 6 receptions. Flutie looking for Graham. Off his fingertips, and then he lost his helmet. Boy, Graham's had a rough first half.
Yeah, he has. This is a nicely read play by Doug Flutie. He reads the defense. He sees that he's got a deep safety in the middle of the field, and he knows that Graham is one-on-one with Chavis. He breaks to the inside. You see he gets hammered. There's Pat Tillman. There's the free safety. Wham.
Second and 10.
You know, in talking to Dave McGinnis yesterday when he was with the Bears, Flutie was in Chicago, Graham, Curtis Conway. They all played for the Bears during Dave McGinnis' tenure there as linebackers coach. And LaDainian Tomlinson, who carries once again, is from McGinnis' alma mater, Texas Christian. They were both Horned Frogs.
Horned Frogs. And I think everyone is proud of LaDainian Tomlinson, who's got a little bit of a limp there. Not only the way the guy plays football, but the kind of person he is. It was interesting. He's engaged, and talked to him yesterday, and he said, I asked him where he was going to go on his honeymoon, and he said he didn't know. I said, make sure you spend some money on that. That's one you don't want to skimp on. And he said, you know, I'm worried about, I don't want to spend too much money. I'm very careful. I don't want to be one of those guys that ends up with nothing when the game is over.
Flutie takes off, picks up the first down. Down to the Cardinals' 22-yard line, a gain of 12.
You said right at the beginning, two of the most exciting quarterbacks in the game of football, and here's why. Nice decision by Doug Flutie. Watch him, he sees everyone's covered. He gives a little pump fake at the line of scrimmage just to keep the defenders backed off of him, and then he uses his great speed to accelerate upfield to pick up a first down.
From the Cardinals' 22-yard line, Tomlinson looked to spin it back inside. Brought down by Ray Thompson after a gain of 3.
He did spin it back inside. I mean, he spun it back inside, but there were so many Cardinals defenders there. He had very little space in which to move. Watch it here. Nice job at the point of attack by Fred Wakefield. He really blows this play up, and there's the spin by LaDainian Tomlinson. And then Ray Thompson, the guy who makes the tackle. Cardinals are crowding the line of scrimmage to shut Tomlinson down, and they're challenging the Chargers to throw this football.
Flutie throws, and the pass is caught inside the 14-yard line by Trevor Gaylor. His first catch of the day, and only his second catch this season. Ronald McKinnon brought him down.
That's what they're going to have to do, because if a defense is going to come and they're going to play 8 guys up, they're going to bring the safeties up and crowd the line of scrimmage to shut down your run game, then you have to go to the passing game. And it's a cat and mouse game. It's back and forth. And I think the Chargers did a good job of drawing the defense up, running LaDainian Tomlinson. And now they're going to have to go back to the pass to stretch that defense out.
Another 3rd and short in the red zone. Floating, complete. Jeff Graham, first down. So for the 3rd time in this first half, the Chargers found themselves in a 3rd and short situation in the red zone. And for the first time, they make it.
And Doug Flutie is finding himself in a rhythm. 13 for 16 now. This is a well-thrown pass. It's a little quarter roll, and you see that Jeff Graham is pretty much wide open. Tillman closes on him, but not soon enough.
3rd catch for Graham, giving the Chargers a 1st and 10 at the Arizona 11. Tomlinson cut down by Zach Walls. No gain on the play.
Brought down by Ray Thompson.
That's been one of the problems with the running game that the Chargers have been these negative or no gain plays in the run. I think it happens when the offensive line allows defensive penetration. They've let some guys sometimes, they slide up into those gaps. I think that's what happened to them, especially in Oakland. The run game was clamped down because the Raiders' defensive line were able to get penetration into the backfield.
Trevor Gaylor in motion, 2nd and 10. Flutie looking, dumps it off. Tomlinson down to the 8-yard line for a gain of 3. Taken down by McKinnon. So the Chargers now face a 3rd down and 7.
Well, excellent protection on this play. And I think Doug Flutie may be a little upset with himself because he had plenty of time. and he goes to a little dump off here, and it really didn't give the Chargers much. I mean, they need a big play. They need to punch it into the end zone here. Now he put himself in a known passing situation. I think he wanted to throw to the end zone on that last play.
Floating back on 3rd and 8, looking end zone. Instead, swings it out, and it deflects off the hand of Tomlinson.
Well, Fred Wakefield again. You know, it took him some time to get there, but ultimately it was Wakefield's determination that causes Doug Flutie to just kind of dump this pass off. Again, you saw he wanted to go to the end zone, but he couldn't because Fred Wakefield was right there in his face.
3 trips to the red zone for the Chargers, 3 field goal attempts. This a 27-yard attempt.
Missed it. Terrible.
Ritchie is now 1 for 3, and the one he hit just barely made it after it was tipped. Ritchie has now missed 9 of 30 this season.
Another missed kick by the San Diego Chargers. Their offense continues to move effectively down the field, frustrated in the red zone, where they failed on a couple 3rd down conversions, and Wade Ritchie, you see the ball was set up for him pretty well. Just squibs it. He is struggling right now mightily.
Ritchie signed a 5-year free agent contract to replace John Carney, and has missed 9 this year. Thomas Jones, a gain of 5 as we check in with James Brown.
Hey, Kenny, New England capitalized on a pass interference call on Greg Thomas of the Saints. Take a look at this play action. Worked beautifully. Brady then hooks up with Troy Brown, 8 yards. Second touchdown pass is made by Brady, and it's now 13-0. That's because 2-point conversion was no good. Back to Kenny Albert, Tim Green.
All right, thanks, JB. The Dolphins, by virtue of their victory earlier, now tied with the Jets, who have a bye this week. Thomas Jones, second consecutive carry, looks to turn the corner, could not. No gain on the play.
And Ryan McNeil is the guy that keeps it to no gain, because he's out there battling against David Boston. We talked about David Boston's tremendous strength. I mean, he's a guy who added 20 pounds in the offseason. So Ryan McNeil is out there, and he's got his hands cut out for him, because Boston is the guy who's blocking him, and that means you're getting hammered. And I think Ryan McNeil is a good match, because McNeil is a very physical cornerback. He's also a smart guy.
A wily veteran. 3rd down and 6. 3 wide receivers. Plummer's pass is caught by Martain Jenkins. Nice catch. He came back to make the catch for a Cardinals 1st down.
And Jake Plummer now seeing the field and spreading the ball around. He's reading the whole defense. Martain Jenkins does an excellent job of separating himself from the coverage. You see Tay Cody, the rookie there, who's got the coverage on him. Jenkins did an excellent job.
15-yard pass play.
Again, throwing to the wide receivers is what the Cardinals must do.
Plummer to David Boston into Chargers territory for the San Diego 42.
They're giving it to him, and the Cardinals just have to keep taking it. Just keep taking it until they're able to jam David Boston on the line of scrimmage. This is what he's going to do. He's too big and too fast to slow down unless you get a guy right up in his face and knock him around, and then have someone backing you up deep.
19 yards from Plummer to Boston. 1st and 10, 42-yard line. Plummer to the air once again. And the pass is caught at the 37-yard line by the fullback, Joel Makovicka, for a gain of 5.
And they go to Makovicka, Kenny, because this time Ryan McNeil does just what we talked about. He gets the jam on David Boston. Watch McNeil. He moves up here, and there it is. He just jams him. And that's all it takes, because now the rhythm is off, and then the safety is deep. See the safety right there? So a nicely defended play, and that forces Plummer to throw underneath to the fullback.
Plummer's completed his last 3 pass attempts. This time, Cardinals keep it on the ground. Jones tries to turn the corner once again, but he's run down by Jason Perry.
And saw Steve Bush, the tight end. Here's Bush. And Bush is going to block him, and Seau sees it coming, and he just gets a jump. And look how he works Bush there. And he forces the ball to the outside. That's where Jason Perry is able to make the tackle. You know, Junior Seau is quick enough so he can play two gaps at the same time. He can play the inside of the blocker. He can play the outside of the blocker.
Not many guys can do that.
No.
Penalty markers once again on first down.
Junior Seau's the guy right in the center of it. There's the adjustment. They show the blitz. And Makovicka jumps. You know, you see all that motion in front of you, and then your quarterback gives the hard count. And it's hard. It's hard. You have to be incredibly disciplined not to jump.
And that the first Cardinals penalty today with 2.5 remaining, second quarter. Chargers leading 3-0. First and 15 from the 37. Plummer pump fakes, airing it out, looking for Boston. He makes the catch for the touchdown.
Touchdown, Arizona.
How good is David Boston? They had him double covered on that play, and he still beats the defense.
37 yards.
Fifth touchdown reception of the season for David Boston, and with that catch he also goes over the 1,000-yard mark for the second consecutive season.
And they might as well keep throwing to David Boston, because as of right now he is unstoppable.
Bill Gramatica adds the extra point. David Boston on the 36-yard reception gives the Cardinals their first lead of the day.
Here's David Boston. Here's one defender. Here's two. They are both assigned to him. One underneath, one over the top. He runs past the underneath. He runs past the over the top. Jason Perry comes over, and you're going to see here, and he just takes a poor angle, and it's like bumping off of a brick wall. David Boston is not affected at all. Perry bounces off him, and Boston catches the touchdown.
The short kickoff brought back by the tight end, Josh Whitman. So the Cardinals keep it away from Ronnie Jenkins. A 9-yard return as we hit the 2-minute warning in San Diego. David Boston and the Cardinals with the 7-3 lead.
I think this guy here is a special player.
Flutie on first down, incomplete, intended for Trevor Gaylor.
Flutie has been sharp all day, but when he's been off, he's been off. And talk about the halftime show. We're going to see some of these highlights, and you'll get to see Garrison Hurst. And we saw the great piece that JB did on him and Bryant Young, and he had a big day today. And then we've talked about David Boston. I mean, look at Terrell Owens. I mean, Owens is another guy in the National Football League who is a lot of fun to watch. He's got another touchdown today. That gives him 12 on the season.
Flutie on second and 10, incomplete, intended for the tight end, Steve Hyden.
And you can see that Doug Flutie is out of his rhythm.
Third and 10. Flutie out of the shotgun. Looking for Jeff Graham, but it pops away.
Ronaldo Hill defending.
Well, that pass was thrown inside Jeff Graham, but that's a catchable ball. And we've seen Jeff Graham miss a couple of these passes today. And here's Graham right here. He's open. Now the ball's thrown back to the inside. But again, that's one that he needs to catch. That's where Doug Flutie needs the guys around him to help him get back into his rhythm.
So Flutie now go for his last 4. Bennett. Good kick, forcing Arnold Jackson all the way back to his 10-yard line. Not much on the return, only a 6-yard return. Dion Humphrey down the field today. Jake Plummer with 1 minute 23 seconds remaining. First half, Michael Pittman down to the...
To be judicious. He doesn't want to do anything foolish and turn this football over.
Cardinals play it safe.
Return game in the National Football League.
And they lead the NFL in average drive start. And you saw today they've started on average at their own 44. Milburn into Cardinals territory. Penalty marker down. David Barrett still went after Milburn.
Yeah, he did.
Despite losing that helmet.
That's dangerous. Remember when Thomas Burke did that a couple years ago?
Yep.
The defensive lineman for the Cardinals?
Remember that look on Burke's face when he was going in to make the tackle without his helmet?
Crazed.
45 yards on the punt.
There's
no timeouts for San Diego. Flutie from the shotgun. Everybody out. Here's Graham, gets out of bounds with 9 seconds to go. Graham's 4th catch of the first half. Once quarterback Steve Berline on the pregame show. Tomlinson. Penalty marker down as the clock stops with 3 seconds remaining. 13-yard pickup for Tomlinson. It's against the Cardinals.
Offside, 54 defense, penalties decline. First down.
Tim, 17 years ago, this past Friday, the anniversary,
the
Doug Flutie
game, right? I was thinking the same thing because I'm thinking, you know, they're going to line up and go for a Hail Mary.
It was 17 years ago this Friday, November 23rd, 1984, Flutie to Gerard Phelan.
That'll ruin Doug's statistics, right? His wife said, hey, how can you throw those things? He's like, hey, I want to win. The only statistic I care about is winning. I don't care about my quarterback rating. And he scrambled in the BC game.
Here it goes, 17 years later. And this one is incomplete. It did not reach the end zone. Think Doug was thinking about that game?
I think so.
17 years and 2 days later. First half comes to an end here in San Diego. Cardinals 7, Chargers 3. Cardinals lead the Chargers at halftime by 3. Three-time Pro Bowl wide receiver Wes Chandler inducted into the Chargers Hall of Fame. Here at halftime, Chandler now the wide receivers coach for the Dallas Cowboys. The score of 7-3. Kenny Albert, Tim Green from San Diego. David Boston has become the go-to guy for Jake Plummer, and he has the game's only touchdown.
Well, he really has. I mean, while San Diego has controlled the ball most of the game, right now David Boston is apparently unstoppable. You see him here, he's getting great separation from the coverage. And despite the fact that the Chargers are putting 2 guys on him, he's able to bring in the deep ball. So I think the Cardinals just have to keep feeding the ball to David Boston.
And on the other side, a big first half for Chargers rookie LaDainian Tomlinson.
Well, he's got almost 100 yards in all-purpose, and he's been involved not only in the running game, where we've seen him run up the center and we've seen his speed to the outside. He's been involved in the passing game, and he's provided a nice outlet pass for quarterback Doug Flutie, who I think has really gotten his rhythm back. The thing that they have struggled with is putting the ball in the end zone. They've moved the ball up and down the field. Now they need to stop, making the mistakes in the kicking game, and they need to punch it in when they get down close.
And from one Tim to another, our Tim Ryan is standing by with Chargers head coach Mike Riley.
Well, what we got to do is either got to score touchdowns or make sure we make the field goals. And we've moved the ball well. We've had some good drives, but we don't have much to show for it.
What's going on with the kicking game?
Just missing kicks. You know, I think that all the rest of it looks okay as far as the hold and the snap and the protection. We're just missing the kicks right now. And then we got to make something else happen. We've been making some big plays in the kicking game all year, so we're looking for a return or something to spark us.
All right, Coach, thanks. Guys.
All right, thanks very much, Tim. And there is Wade Ritchie, who missed 2 field goals in the first half from 25 and 27 yards out. Chargers on their first drive today, Tim, were on the move, and then a face mask penalty against Curtis Conway took them out of Arizona territory, and they had a punt.
And I think Arizona's defense has done a nice job in the red zone of stiffening up and keeping the Chargers out of it.
There's Martae Jenkins for the Cardinals, cutting to his right. Now back the other way. Jenkins still on his feet. Martae Jenkins into Chargers territory. And he's forced out of bounds by the kicker, Wade Ritchie.
Ritchie may have squandered 6 points in field goals in the first half, but he just saved 7 points here in the second half with this tackle.
A 70-yard return by Martae Jenkins.
And Jenkins just does a great job of running through a tackle and then turning on the speed. He reverses field. He draws the whole Chargers defense to one side, and then he comes back to the other. And this is a really nice job by Wade Ritchie to take the proper angle and cut off Jenkins' path to the end zone.
Martae winning the battle of the Jenkins. San Diego's Ronnie Jenkins, no relation, coming into the game as the league's top return man. Pittman up the middle, down to the 25-yard line for a gain of 4 as we check out the first half numbers.
And you can see that the Chargers have chalked up, almost twice the amount of yardage as the Cardinals, but it's been this right here. This is what gave the Cardinals their score. They've got the ball downfield to David Boston, and they need to continue to do that. And when you have that kind of an imbalance, you have this kind of an imbalance in the time of possession. The thing the Cardinals have to be aware of is they need to keep putting points on the board. Their defense will wear down if they keep losing the time of possession battle.
Plummer's pass incomplete, intended for Martae Jenkins. Now third down and 6. 3 wide receivers. Plummer, quick drop. And the pass deflected and then caught. Terrific second effort for the first down. So Martae Jenkins this time makes the catch after the initial deflection.
Well, here's Jenkins. He's going to break right here on this slant. The ball's thrown behind him, and that's the kind of concentration and determination that they need from Martae Jenkins, because Frank Sanders, who strained his hamstrings in last week's game, we're told is now out of the game. He will not return, but you'll see him somewhere in the National Football League.
First down for the Cardinals from the 19-yard line. Here's Pittman, who had his problems in the first half. He had 2 passes from Plummer deflect away, but Pittman gains 5 yards down to the San Diego 14.
And Pittman just escapes the clutches of Junior Seau. Watch Seau come up on this blitz, and he just runs right through Anthony Clement. Watch this here. Wham! He knocks Clement right backwards, but Pittman is able to slide just underneath him to make a nice gain on the ground.
2nd and 5. Pittman again down to the 11-yard line. Gain of 3 before he was brought down by Orlando Ruff.
One thing you get from Michael Pittman is effort. I mean, he is such a hard runner. I mean, he's almost maniacal the way he runs. And I think, he ran himself into the turf and gave himself a concussion. And I think sometimes he runs so hard that he's prone to fumbling because he never, ever will go down. And so oftentimes people get that 2nd, 3rd, and 4th hit on him, and they can jar the ball loose.
3rd down and 1. Off the play fake to Pittman. Plummer has the first down and more. Out of bounds inside the 5-yard line.
When Norv Turner was interviewing for jobs, Dave McGinnis wanted to bring him to Arizona, and he wanted him to be the coordinator there. One thing Norv Turner loved about the Cardinals was Jake Plummer, his skills, and his ability to be creative. And I think we saw that creativity. There's Norv Turner, who took the job, obviously, in San Diego. But I think we saw Jake Plummer's creativity and what Norv Turner liked in him on that play. Because Plummer has the legs where he can pick up positive yards and make big plays, running it as well as throwing it.
1st and goal from the 5-yard line. And Michael Pittman is bottled up by Junior Seau.
Remember I said earlier that Junior Seau can play both gaps, and that is exactly what he does. Watch him here. Here he is right here, and he comes, and he's got the inside of the tight end, and he's got the outside of the tight end. And he makes Pittman go to the outside because he's inside, and then he bounces outside and takes it himself. And that's why the Chargers have been so successful over the years that he's been here in stopping the run. He's like having two players out there against the run.
Here's Pittman, bounces off one tackle, reaches across, he lost the football. Marcellus Wiley recovers. The question is, was he across the plane before he fumbled? And it does not look like he was, according to the officials. Cardinals sideline saying that Pittman was down.
I don't know. I thought he had the ball across the plane.
So did I.
We'll get a chance to see here. I think he holds that ball out. That's a touchdown. Unless his knee was down, that is a touchdown. And if his knee was down, then it wouldn't be a fumble.
The runner was down by contact.
Now that's not reviewable.
Line.
There you go. So they settled that one. It will not go to instant replay because a down by contact ruling is not reviewable. Now, had they said this is a fumble, there's the knee. Yeah, yep. I think that's a great call by the officials.
Excellent call.
They really do a fine job. I was looking at the replay statistics, and I think we've had about 100 so far this year, and they've overturned only about a third of them. And I think most times these guys down here on the field, they see things incredibly well.
So Pittman was down on the one, setting up 3rd and goal. Pittman tripped up.
What an effort.
Again, Junior Seau
was in there, and this is about timing for Junior Seau, because he hits the line of scrimmage as the ball is snapped. I mean, the timing by Seau. Watch Seau. He's going to rocket into the scene here, and right there, and he's up and over and in the backfield, and right at Pittman's feet before Pittman has a chance to launch.
And the Cardinals will not go for it.
So Junior Seau saves a touchdown with his run defending abilities.
And Bill Gramatica connects from 18 yards out. The shortest possible field goal, as the Cardinals were about 1 foot out, and they elect for 3.
No matter how many honors you have as a football player, there's one badge you always love to wear, and that's this right here, blood. You love to have blood, running all over your body because you don't care, you can't feel it, your adrenaline's going, and you love to have people see that, hey, I'm out on the football field, I can bleed, I don't care.
And the goal line stand kept the Cardinals out of the end zone. Another short kickoff by Gramatica is brought out by Ronnie Jenkins to the 33-yard line, a 17-yard return. There's the blood.
Right there.
There he is. Here's Tomlinson. He fumbles, and it's recovered by the Cardinals. Ronald McKinnon on the recovery after the fumble by LaDainian Tomlinson.
No, that is the 3rd time that LaDainian Tomlinson has put the ball on the ground. But the first time that they're calling it a fumble. Right? We've seen him lose the ball before, but his knee was down when he lost it. That time, his knee was not down. And Kwame Lassiter, who has 7 interceptions, so is responsible for a lot of turnovers already, but he's there, and he may get the forced fumble, but I think LaDainian Tomlinson just got a little careless with the football.
First Chargers turnover of the game. And it gives the Cardinals terrific field position on the San Diego 36.
May want to review this one.
San Diego is challenging the ruling on the field that it is a fumble.
Missed kicks, penalties. One more look. You know what? That left knee, I don't know. From that's the first angle I've seen where I thought maybe that knee was down. From this angle,
the runner was not touched down. His knee did hit the ground, but he was not down. No one touched him. The ball came out prior to being touched. So the ruling on the field stands. It is a fumble. First down for Arizona.
So the names.
I think a lot of that is because of Junior Seau. You get you get that shock value in return after a big play is made. There he is again.
Quick release by Plummer, and it's incomplete.
That's exactly why teams have a tough time scoring after a turnover. Because the reason why you get a lot of points off of turnovers is because the other team is deflated. But look at Seau. Look at him there, and look at the pressure. So Seau and Gerald Dixon are immediately on Jake Plummer, and they force him to just throw that ball away. And Seau is the kind of guy his intensity is always ratcheted up, whether it's a turnover or not a turnover.
3 wide receivers set. 2nd and 10. Plummer can't find anyone. Rolling to his right. And steps out of bounds at the 36-yard line. No gain on the play, so it will be 3rd and long for the Cardinals.
Well, Kenny, we talked about Jake and his best game of the year, or best game of his career last week. On this one here, he is looking downfield for Boston, but he sees the underneath coverage, and then he sees the coverage over the top. So I think he didn't make a positive play by forcing the ball in, but he didn't make a negative play by giving the Chargers an interception.
Plummer under pressure on 3rd and 10, dumps it off, and Thomas Jones is close to the first down marker. Jones needed to get to the 26-yard line for a first down.
It's going to be very close. And again, what the Chargers do defensively is they bring the heat. I mean, they bring Junior Seau. Watch him come on the blitz here. Here he comes. He's unimpeded. And while, yes, it is a screen pass, Plummer has to throw this screen pass sooner than he wants to because nobody's there to even slow Seau down.
Cardinals will go for it.
And Davis may be the strongest man in the game.
Jenkins in motion. Here's Pittman over the top for the first down.
Right behind Leonard Davis.
There's Davis, who is the 2nd overall pick behind Michael Vick.
Yeah, and he gets some help with Anthony Clement, and they just drive forward, and there's a nice launching point for Michael Pittman. You see Pittman? I mean, there's no one there to stop him.
Last time he tried to launch, it was Junior Seau who tripped him up in the backfield.
Yeah, but you can't get through Leonard Davis to do any tripping.
Off the play fake to Pittman. Plummer. And the pass is caught. A sliding catch made by the tight end Steve Bush, playing in his 3rd game with the Cardinals.
And Steve Bush they were foiled the last time they were down here when they tried to run it. I think you go to David Boston. I think you just, look at it. Every time you throw to him, he catches it. One time he's got a touchdown. They're going to double cover him, but I think with his size and his strength, I think you throw to him anyway.
1st and 10 from the Chargers 12. Play action. Plummer throws, deflected, and picked off by Jason Perry. The 2nd interception of the game for the Chargers, both coming on deflections.
A huge play for the San Diego Chargers. And Perry comes up with the interception. Ruff was the guy who tipped it, but watch the guys who made the play. Watch the coverage on David Boston. There's coverage right there by Ryan McNeil. And McNeil is the guy that watch Plummer. He wants to throw to Boston. But McNeil has perfect coverage, so he goes down to his tight end. He never sees the linebacker. And it's another big play in the red zone by the Chargers defense.
Perry with his 2nd pick of the year. So the Chargers will start on their own 1-yard line. And we talked about what the Chargers defense has done following turnovers by their offense. They had allowed only 19 points following turnovers, and they stopped the Cardinals on that drive.
Right, so they only allowed 3 on 2 crucial turnovers so far today. Here's where you roll Flutie out. Let him make some of that magic happen.
It's Tomlinson, and he's forced back by Ronald McKinnon and Ray Thompson after a gain of just 1. LaDainian Tomlinson now with 99 yards of combined offense, 70 on the ground, and 29 on 7 receptions. Second down and 9 from the 2. Conway in motion. Flutie out of his own end zone, complete. Out of the backfield, the fullback, Fred McCrary. And he's tripped up by Tom Knight after a gain of 7.
McCrary does a nice job of giving the Chargers offense some breathing room. And again, it's just a nice pass by Doug Flutie. Just a little bit of a drop, just like a quarter roll, and he dumps it off to McCrary. Now they've got a long march down the field. See Flutie's numbers today, no touchdowns. Not a lot of big passes, but efficient throwing by Flutie.
Third down and 2. Flutie to Conway, first down, spins away from Corey Chavis, and is forced out of bounds at the 31-yard line, a gain of 22 yards.
Well, Corey Chavis goes for the big play, but Doug Flutie has too much velocity on this football. Watch Flutie, he's going to drop back, and he's going to gun this ball in there, and you're going to see Corey Chavis. He tries to jump in front of it for the interception, but he misjudges the velocity on this ball.
So the Chargers started on their own 1-yard line. Now they have some breathing room. First and 10 from the 31. Flutie to the air once again. To the outside, it's caught by McCrary. Forced out of bounds by Pat Tillman after a gain of 6.
Yeah, Flutie is starting to gun the ball around. But again, Kenny, you know, we've seen the Chargers all afternoon. They've been able to move the ball. They've thrown it downfield. They've not thrown it so much downfield, but they've thrown it pretty efficiently in the dinks and dunks. They've run the ball pretty well with LaDainian Tomlinson. It's in the red zone when they get ready to score where they've had their mental mistakes.
Flutie's completed 3 straight pass attempts, looking to make it 4. He does. Tomlinson, his 8th catch of the game, and he picks up another Chargers first down.
And you can feel the rhythm that Doug Flutie is getting into. And I think that right now, the Arizona Cardinals defense, they want to do some shock treatment. They want to try to bring some heat, to bring a blitz, to knock Doug Flutie out of this rhythm. Because if they don't do it, they're going to find themselves right back to their own end zone again.
Flutie on this drive, perfect, 41 yards. On the 43-yard line, Flutie had his foot stepped on and he goes down.
And they did come with the blitz. I believe that Kendall Jaycox, the center, saw Ronald McKinnon come. Watch McKinnon. Here he comes. Here comes the blitz. And I think Jaycox steps back and right on the foot of Doug Flutie. There it is right there.
A loss of 3 yards on the play.
That's what they need. I think the Cardinals need to just keep doing that. They need to keep up the pressure, keep up the heat.
3 wide receivers on 2nd and 13. Play action. Flutie. Dumping it off. It's caught. Tomlinson up to the 49-yard line. And he's brought down after a gain of 9 by Russell Davis. 9th catch of the day for Tomlinson.
With the tackle.
How do you know a defense is giving an all-out effort? Watch Russell Davis. Here he is. He's rushing the passer. He gets banged by one guy, banged by 2. There's the short pass. He's in Flutie's face, but here he comes. He's running downfield. He's a big man. He doesn't have tremendous speed, but he's got hustle.
Flutie has now completed 5 in a row. 3rd down and 4. Again, 3 wide receivers. Flutie fires, complete to Conway.
Well thrown pass.
Another Chargers first down. Corey Chavis made the tackle after a gain of 10.
Arizona chooses to rush only 4 men. And so Doug Flutie has time, and a nice passing lane opens up for him to throw through, and he delivers a bullet. Again, if they're going to get Flutie out of his rhythm, they have to pressure it. They have to.
Flutie now 6 for his last 6. From the Cardinals 41. 7 for 7 as the pass was caught by Gaylor. A gain of 12 and another first down for the Chargers.
Kenny, they've got to do it. They're not getting pressure with their 4th down lineman. Here's Taylor.
To the 29.
There's no pressure. You see that there? Nice job by the Chargers offensive line. Lots of time. And Trevor Gaylor runs a nice pattern. He drives Corey Chavis deep, does a little bit of an outcut there, and the ball thrown perfectly by Flutie.
70 yards on the drive so far. They started at their own 1.
And it's all this guy right here. Flutie is the guy who orchestrated this thing.
Penalty marker as Flutie hits Tomlinson. Another flag. 2 flags on the field.
Penalty flags. Aaron Tanner with the tackle.
Both penalties against San Diego.
Illegal shift on the offense, 2 men moving and not resetting. The penalties decline. Holding, 71. Offense, 10-yard penalty, still first down.
Kenny, we talk about the rhythm that Doug Flutie's in, and the reason is because he really hasn't been under pressure. He's only been hit twice today so far. He's only been hurried 5 times, and that's out of 31 throwing attempts. So a super job by his offensive line up front. They've done an excellent job, and I really, as I said, I really believe that the Cardinals have got to blitz Flutie to get him out of this rhythm.
An offensive line that has allowed only 14 sacks all season, none so far today.
Well, I think they've done a good job too, but I think part of that statistic comes from Flutie's elusiveness.
Following the penalty on Domingo Graham, 1st and 20 from the 39. Flutie to Tomlinson, his 10th catch of the game, and works his way down to the 30-yard line before he was tackled by Pat Tillman, a gain of 9.
They're just going to keep. They're just going to keep picking them apart. You know, Flutie, when I asked him about his rhythm and how he was in a little bit of a statistical slide, he was been in a slump for 3 games. And I said, how did you get out of it? Any superstitions, anything you try to do differently? He said, you know what? And this is just Doug Flutie. This is classic. He is such a practical guy. He said, no, all I wanted to do was practice faster. I wanted more live action in practice to get my rhythm back.
Flutie to the near side for Graham. Flutie also told us, I don't care about the stats. I only care about the wins and the losses.
Well, that's been his whole life, and that's how you can be his size and still be 39 years old and playing in the National Football League. And look at him this drive. Perfect. I mean, he is such a ferocious competitor. He competes in everything he does.
Final minute of this 3rd quarter. Flutie on 3rd down. Fires, and the catch is made down at the 7-yard line by the tight end, Steve Hayden. Gained it 16 yards on the play for another Chargers first down.
Again, the protection that Doug Flutie has back there is outstanding. The only guy that's even close is Sanyika, and he's in rushing the passer because Mario Fatafehi, who was a tackle and slid out to end, he's in the locker room having x-rays.
Flutie 10 for 10 so far on this drive as the Chargers have driven 90. Cardinals leading the Chargers here in San Diego 10-3, and Doug Flutie has found his rhythm.
And he is in his groove. He's 10 for 10 on this drive, and he's gotten the ball to 5 different receivers. So the Chargers doing a great job moving the ball down the field. But now, Kenny, now they got to punch it into the end zone because all game long they've been able to move it. They've not been able to score touchdowns.
In the first half, 3 times in the red zone, 3 field goal attempts, and they connected on only 1.
Historically, they run it in from here.
Tomlinson. No gain on the play.
Nice effort by Zach Walls.
Chargers and the Cardinals leading the way, along with the Chiefs as far as fourth quarter scoring. San Diego well ahead of the rest of the league, and Arizona with the big fourth quarter last week against Detroit.
Well, although the Chargers have, as I said, historically they've tried to run it in from here, I think the rhythm that Flutie has, you might as well go back to the thing that got you down here and throw it.
Here it comes to the end zone. Touchdown! Curtis Conway capping a 99-yard drive. Flutie on the drive, 11 for 11.
And you know, Kenny, the old saying, dance with the girl that brung you. And Doug Flutie in that passing game brought the Chargers all the way down the field to the dance. And then they danced with it.
And Wade Ritchie hearing the boos from the crowd as his name was announced over the public address. Ritchie connecting on the point after. Here's the sarcastic cheers from the Chargers fans. San Diego has tied the score at 10. And Marte Jenkins for the Cardinals had that 70-yard return to open the second half, which led to the Arizona field goal. Here's Jenkins from the 5. Cutting to his right. Jenkins out to the 34-yard line. A 29-yard return. Robert Carswell made the tackle on special teams. 10-10 Cardinals and the Chargers. We'll be back.
How good do your moves have to be to score a touchdown in the NFL? Watch Curtis Conway put the juke on Tommy Knight. He gets open, and then how good does your pass have to be? Watch Doug Flutie just lace this ball right here, right between the zone coverage with a perfect pass for the Chargers tying score.
Flutie on that drive, 11 for 11, and thanks to a penalty, 111 yards in the air on the scoring drive. Michael Pittman out to the 37-yard line. Adrian Dingle made the tackle. Gain of 3 yards for Pittman. So the Chargers have tied the score following a 14-play, 99-yard drive.
And what we saw on that last play was the Cardinals running to set up the pass. I think the Chargers ran LaDainian Tomlinson early to set up the pass with Doug Flutie. And now I think Doug Flutie is back in a groove. He's back in a rhythm. And that's going to be dangerous, not only for the Cardinals, but everyone else.
Nice catch by the converted wide receiver, now a tight end, Taiwan Mitchell, into Chargers territory for a first down. Down to the Chargers in 46.
Jake does a nice job. He's got a blitz coming on him quickly. He's got the safety coming unblocked, and he gets rid of this ball very nicely. He finds the receiver. It's in the vacated area, vacated by the blitzers. So a nice read, nice decision, nice throw by Jake Plummer. Cardinals might as well just keep throwing the ball. That's what's working for them.
7th catch of the season for Mitchell. We go back to the run, and Pittman is flattened by Seau as we check in with over the last couple of seasons. 4 wide receivers. Plummer on 2nd and 10, in trouble, escapes, got away from Dingle, now throws, looking for Jackson, And it's broken up in the end zone by Carswell. But a penalty marker down out near midfield.
Arnold Jackson, the intended receiver.
It's against Arizona.
This play is a good example of where Jake's creativity can sometimes hurt.
With pressure on the quarterback.
He gets away with this one. But Carswell had a very nice chance to intercept this ball.
Holding, 66, offense, 10-yard penalty, still second down.
Pete Kendall, the left guard.
Kendall's right here. He's going to try to help block on Adrian Dingle. And he just grabs him by the arm. Not much of a hold, but a hold nonetheless. And as we said, Jake Plummer was lucky on that one that the ball was not intercepted.
2nd and 20.
10-yard penalty, 2nd and 20. Plummer out of the shotgun. And the pass is caught by Tywan Mitchell. His second catch. Gerald Dixon made the tackle after a gain of just 2.
Gerald Dixon does a super job on this because he forces Jake Plummer to throw the ball early by giving him the blitz read, and then he pulls out of his fake and into coverage. Watch Dixon right here. See that? He goes up and he forced Jake to think, all right, I've got to get rid of this ball quick, and then he peels off on the coverage and shuts the play down really single-handedly. And now Junior is getting everyone fired up.
The crowd on their feet. 3rd down and 17. Plummer steps up, in trouble. Chased by Perella, and throws it away.
That's the pressure that this Chargers defense has typified all season long. 4 men up front and 4 men putting excellent pressure on Jake Plummer. There's a stunt in the middle, and there's Ray Lee Johnson absolutely collapsing the pocket. And then John Perella, the big nose guard, 305 pounds, showing great agility, really, to chase Jake Plummer down.
Plummer told us yesterday Perella never takes a play off.
Said he's a madman.
And he found out firsthand on that play. Milburn with the fair catch, 44-yard punt by San Diego. And the Chargers and the Cardinals are tied at 10. Doug Flutie led the Chargers 99 yards on their last drive. This time they start at their own 10. Flutie has connected on 11 consecutive pass attempts. And he's now 12 for his last 12 as Jeff Graham makes the catch for a gain of 20 yards.
With what Doug Flutie is doing, which is basically dissecting this Cardinals defense, they might as well take a chance and try to run a blitz on it. This is a zone right here. They've got 2 deep, 5 underneath, only 4 men rushing, getting no pressure on Doug Flutie. And Graham and all the rest of them are just finding the soft spots and sitting down. Doug Flutie is hot.
Flutie to the air on first down, 13 in a row. Tomlinson forced out of bounds by McKinnon after a gain of 5. Well, Fox Tuesday, catch Kiefer Sutherland in a new episode of 24 at 9 p.m. right here on Fox. And if you missed the 3rd hour of 24, you can catch it tomorrow night on FX. So be sure to check your local listings.
That is an exciting show. We've got an exciting game. And we talked about wearing down the Cardinals defense. And I think that's what San Diego has been able to do. They have kept this defense out on the field a long time today.
2nd and 5. And Flutie's pass incomplete. He was looking for Hyden. So Flutie's streak comes to an end, 2 shy of a Chargers record, as he completed 13 in a row. Dan Fouts completed 15 consecutive passes for San Diego back in 1981. And you could see Flutie point to his chest. My fault.
Yeah,
my fault.
That was him. And then you said it. It's the first time we've seen him out of rhythm. I will say this. The Cardinals, they didn't blitz all out, but they rushed 5. And they didn't give Flutie the throwing lane that he's had on all the other passes we've seen him complete. He did not have a lane to throw in because there were 5 rushers, and one of them got in his face. It was Marcus Bell.
3 wide receivers on 3rd down and 5. And Flutie's pass deflected. And a penalty flag.
Yeah, that's going to be Corey Chavis kind of mugs Curtis Conway. But I don't know. They may say it was uncatchable.
And if the ball is deflected, there is no pass interference.
Well, yeah, and if it's deflected, that's right. You can mug him.
There's no pass interference on the play. The ball was tipped. 4th down.
Well, the Cardinals defense holds on this play. There's Corey Chavis right there. And it clearly would have been pass interference, but for the tipped ball. Marcus Bell, and he's the guy who had the pressure on Doug Flutie on the play. Not the pressure, but he's the guy who blocked the throwing lane on the play before. So an important turnaround for the Cardinals defense to slow down Flutie in that passing game.
Bennett punting from his own 25. Good kick. Arnold Jackson plays it at the 15. Jackson brought down by Dion Humphrey. 50-yard punt by Bennett. Jake Plummer, big 4th quarter numbers this year. Pump fakes, going for Boston, and nearly made an incredible catch.
I will say that Ryan McNeil does a fine job in his coverage of David Boston on this play. He keeps nice position. He doesn't get turned completely around. He stays right with him, and that forces Jake Plummer to throw this ball just out of Boston's reach. I mean, that is impressive to stay with David Boston that tight. It really is. But I like what the Cardinals did, and I think they should just keep doing it. Just keep going back to him. And now the Chargers are starting to mirror David Boston with Ryan McNeil.
2nd and 10 from the shotgun. Plummer dumps it off. It's Boston. Down the sidelines, forced out of bounds at the Chargers' 38-yard line.
Well, how do you turn yourself around? You work hard in the offseason. And look at this man. He added 20 pounds to his frame, and it's all muscle, and it all came as the result of tremendous work. He spent a lot of time with Jerry Sullivan, the wide receivers coach. He spent a lot of time in the weight room, and this man deserves all the accolades that he's going to receive because he worked for it. It's a great story.
His 6th 100-yard game this year. Thomas Jones. Jones down to the 33-yard line. A gain of 5 as we check in with James Brown.
New Orleans still trying to chip away in the bad weather up in New England, fellas. Take a look at Aaron Brooks out of the shotgun, hooking up with Willie Jackson, 7 yards to pay dirt, 27-17. And Kenny and Tim, Chris Collinsworth said he used to look like that as well. Back to you guys.
Well, there's a little mud up there in New England, JB. I know Chris Collinsworth was really looking for some mud today. He was looking for it in the Philadelphia game, but that was on turf. They had fun with him in the pregame show.
Plummer complete, 1st down. Martae Jenkins down to the Chargers' 23-yard line. A gain of 10.
Boy, now it's starting to work. You know, the Chargers are so focused on David Boston, and watch him here working on Ryan McNeil. Look at the power there. Just tossing around. McNeil's got great position, and he's got a safety over the top as well. And if they're going to do that to David Boston, then you need Martae Jenkins. You need to mix it up, to throw it over there, to challenge the defense, to spread him out and soften him up. Then you go back to your big guy.
From the 23-yard line, Plummer pump fakes, looking for Boston. Double coverage. Jason Perry and Ryan McNeil on the coverage. 2nd and 10 upcoming.
I mean, look at the tremendous respect this defense is paying to David Boston. Look at it. There's Ryan McNeil, and again, it's cover 2. McNeil says all you have to do is play underneath. Jason Perry's over the top to cover it. I mean, they're using 2 men to play David Boston. Look at the power. You talk about strength. I mean, he tossed Perry. Perry says, you know, that's what it's all about. I love that. I love that camaraderie between guys who are out there battling. Between plays, you don't have to be that way.
Thomas Jones, 4-yard pickup.
I think that was, you know, when you looked at the pregame piece that Pam Oliver did with Kyle Turley from the Saints, you know, and the anger that he had carried off between plays, and that's the exception. That's not the rule. And I know why he was angry, and sometimes that happens, but for the most part in this game, you see great competitiveness, and anger is between the whistles, and that's what it has to be. That's how Howie Long played the game. Angry when the whistle stops, friends again.
Huge play coming up. 3rd down and 6. Plummer complete. Arnold Jackson has the first down.
Tremendous job by the Cardinals offensive line up front. Just to give Jake Plummer a moment. There's the blitz. It's an all-out blitz. Everyone's coming, but Plummer has time. And because everyone is focused in the secondary on David Boston, look at it right there. There's 3 guys on Boston. Now you got Arnold underneath, and he's open. Arnold Jackson is open because 3 men were looking at David Boston.
Jackson, the all-time leading receiver in college football history. Jones takes it up the middle. Thomas Jones down to the 1-yard line.
And I will tell you this, we are still seeing the effects of David Boston, believe it or not, even in the running game, because they're trying to blitz, they're trying to cover Boston, and now the whole defense is out of sync and softened up.
Now Pittman replaces Jones. Jason Starkey, backup center, has checked in as an eligible receiver.
How about the big guy Leonard Davis? Would you like to run behind him?
There's Pittman, goes the other way, and is in for the touchdown.
With the touchdown.
That was a well-executed drive by the Arizona Cardinals offense. And really, they did it all, didn't they? They got the ball to Boston. They threatened with Boston. Then they came back. Marte Jenkins made a nice catch. Arnold makes a nice catch. Pittman runs it in. Excellent all around, right? Thomas Jones had a beautiful run down there in the red zone. Very balanced offensive effort by the Cardinals.
The big play, the 30-yard pass play from Plummer to Boston. And then Pittman returning home. The San Diego native gives the Cardinals the 7-point lead. Bill Gramatica kicking off. And it bounces behind Jenkins. He hesitated and now takes it out. Ronnie Jenkins out to the 28-yard line. Pat Tillman made the stop. Doug Flutie will look to work some magic when we return.
Drive almost single-handedly when they scored their lone touchdown of the day.
Chargers starting from their own 28-yard line. Flutie over the top to Tomlinson, his 12th catch of the day. 9 yards. 2nd and 1 for the Chargers.
And Kenny, I think part of the key for the Chargers is protecting Doug Flutie. And look how well they've done that so far. He has only been hit 3 times. He's only been hurried 6 times, and that's out of 40 pass attempts. So the guys up front have done a fantastic job. Jay Cox, McIntosh, Roundtree.
Tomlinson picks up the first down out to the 40.
These Chargers offensive linemen have done a really fine job of protection. And again, even though they ran for the first down there, I think you're going to see the Chargers continue to have Flutie throwing the ball. And the only time the Cardinals have been able to stop him in the second half is when they brought more than 4 rushers.
Play action on first down. Catch number 13 for Tomlinson, tackled by Tillman at the 47, a gain of 7.
Again, Kenny, the Chargers are just going to pick this defense apart. Doug Flutie is playing too well right now. He's playing within his game. He's seeing the field. And without pressure in his face, he's just going to sit back there. He's going to examine it, and he's going to find a receiver open, whether it's deep downfield or underneath. Nice job.
Second down and 4. Flutie steps up, penalty marker. Flutie into Cardinals territory.
Grab his shirt, keep it in tight. That's okay. Here he is right here. And watch what he does to Russell Davis right here at the last second. And there's the official right there's the umpire right there. They're always going to see that.
So it forces the Chargers back. Second down and 14.
The Heat.
Flutie to Gaylor. Trevor Gaylor into Cardinals territory for a Chargers first down. 26 yards on the pass play.
Cardinals bring the heat, and Flutie beats it anyway. Watch Kwame Lassiter. Watch Pat Tillman. Here he comes. Tillman's on Flutie right away. But Flutie finds Gaylor downfield. And another perfectly thrown football. Look at that. Inside the outside coverage. Outside the inside coverage. And Flutie just delivers an excellent pass.
Tom Knight, who missed 3 games with a hamstring injury before returning last week, shaken up. He collided with his teammate Kwame Lassiter.
And Kenny, watch, look at the rhythm. Watch, Flutie's going to have pressure right here from Tillman in his face. Watch how well this ball is thrown. Look at this. Look at that. Look at that right there. Look where he has to throw that ball. He's got a safety on one side. He's got a cornerback on another. And look where he puts it. Right in there.
Gaylor's 3rd catch of the day. Came into the game with only 1 reception all season. And there's Lassiter, who the last time these teams met back in 1998, last game of the season, Cardinals clinched the playoffs. Lassiter in that game had 4 interceptions, which tied an NFL record. Lassiter involved in a collision with Knight, forcing Knight out of the game.
Automobile Club of Southern California to provide convenient road assistance in the stadium parking lot.
So for the Chargers, who trail by a touchdown. 1st and 10 coming up from the Cardinals' 38-yard line.
Even though Doug Flutie beat the blitz on that last play, I would continue to blitz him. I really would. I just don't see the Cardinals defense stopping Flutie any other way than putting heat in on him.
David Barrett has replaced Tom Knight at left corner. Floated to the tight end, Hayden. Out of bounds at the 30-yard line. A gain of 8 as we check in with James Brown. JB.
Kenny and Tim, it has just been an impressive performance by New England. Take a look at Antoine Smith. He takes it in 3 yards for the score. Most points given up this season by the Saints. 34-17 New England. And fellas, Chris Collinsworth on the mud issue in Philly. He's crying Uncle Mel. Back to you guys.
Come on, you guys aren't being rough on him still, are you, JV? No, not Terry.
And the Eagles, despite the Wagner block, lost to the Redskins. Redskins' 5th consecutive victory. Tomlinson close to the marker.
The only time we're seeing the Chargers run the ball now is when it's a 2nd and short type situation, just to keep the chains moving, just to pick up another first down. And this one may be just short. It is just short.
3rd and 1 for the Chargers with under 3 minutes remaining.
This is an area where the Chargers struggled early in the game, but in this second half they've thrown it successfully on 3rd down.
Chargers keep it on the ground, and Tomlinson looks to have the first down. He does.
I think it's excellent vision by LaDainian Tomlinson. You know, because there's a lot of movement up front, and Arizona comes with a run blitz. Watch the movement up front, and LaDainian Tomlinson starts one way, and he sees the hole. He sees the hole, and he breaks back to the inside. And that was an important first down.
Chargers did not get the snap off prior to the 2-minute warning. Doug Flutie and the Chargers on the move on the 28-yard line with 2 minutes to play, trailing by 7. Kenny Albert, Tim Green back in San Diego, 17-10. Cardinals with the lead. Doug Flutie, a career-high 32 completions this afternoon. First and 10 on the Arizona 28.
Here comes the heat, Kenny. Here comes the blitz.
Flutie going for Graham in the end zone. Touchdown!
Doug Flutie is in a rhythm. I think he's in a rhythm that his garage band would be proud of.
His second touchdown pass in this fourth quarter. And Wade Ritchie,
that was close,
just makes the point after he missed 2 field goals back in the first quarter. We are tied with under 2 minutes to play. Arizona Cardinals, San Diego Chargers tied at 17 with 1:54 remaining. Doug Flutie to Jeff Graham tying the score. Short kickoff picked up by Marcel Shipp, a rookie running back out of the University of Massachusetts, and he brings it out to the 37.
Kenny, I like the Cardinals' decision to blitz. I don't like the press coverage down here by the young David Barrett against Jeff Graham. That's what enables this play to happen. See, Barrett is just way too close to the wily veteran Graham, and Graham turns him around, separates himself, and Doug Flutie does a great job with pressure in his face to deliver a perfect touchdown pass. So I like the pressure, I like the blitz, but I don't like taking a young, inexperienced quarterback and trying to press a guy like Jeff Graham. You will lose that battle, and the Cardinals did lose that battle.
Cardinals with 2 timeouts remaining. Plummer incomplete, looking for the fullback Makovecka. Rayleigh Johnson applying intense pressure on Jake.
Really nice pressure by Rayleigh Johnson, and he ate the Oakland Raiders alive last week. And now, when it's a critical point in the game, he is working L.J. Shelton. Watch the power. Watch him here. He gets up underneath Shelton's pads, shucks and comes to the inside, and the snake just barely slips away.
Second and 10, 4 wide receivers. Plummer complete. Tywan Mitchell into Chargers territory, forced out of bounds at the 44-yard line.
Nice job by the snake, and this is why he's a snake. You ever try to pick up a garden snake, you can barely get your hands on it, and when you do, he slips away. Watch Perella, comes around, snake slips up, slips away, slides the ball to the underneath receiver. Jake is not only eluding, he's seeing the field.
20 yards from Plummer to Mitchell. From the Chargers 44. Plummer to the outside, caught by Marte Jenkins. Knocked out of bounds by Tate Cody after a gain of 8.
What a well, you know, we talked about the efficiency of the Chargers offense and how Flutie worked down the field so well, throwing the ball. Look at this passing game. But one thing about this Cardinals team, they have an outstanding passing game, and it's just getting better and better. Plummer is getting better. He's making better decisions, and he's spreading the ball. I mean, David Boston is a force, but now we're seeing Marte Jenkins get in on the action. And also Arnold Jackson.
Second and 2. Michael Pittman stopped Junior Seau again leading the charge.
This is where you have to be careful, because this is where a guy like Seau can take over the game if you let him. But you know what you need to do? You just need to avoid it. You need to just stay away from Junior Seau. The only way you can stay away from him is use the passing game.
Under a minute to play. 3rd down and 1. Jackson in motion.
Jake shouldn't forget his ability to run.
Plummer throws and the pass is caught by David Boston for a 1st down. A gain of 13 yards with 47 seconds remaining.
Well done by both these Cardinals players. Watch the pressure. Junior Seau is coming with a full head of steam. Here comes the blitz. Here comes the pressure. Look at him. And Jake does a fantastic job. Look at Boston. Runs a very disciplined route. You know, when we talked to him yesterday about all the things that he's done in the offseason, the strength, the working, and he kept focusing on the precision of his routes. And that's what frustrated Seau on that play.
The Cardinals in field goal range. Here's Pittman, penalty marker on the play. Pittman down to the 19-yard line.
I think Junior Seau drew that penalty. I think it may end up being holding. And if it is, I would contend that it's because they were trying to stop Junior Seau.
Holding, 60, offense, 10-yard penalty.
That's Mike Grudadoria, the center. Why is he holding? He's holding because one of the best players in the game is right here in his face, and he has to tackle him to keep him from tackling Pittman in the backfield. And that is a costly penalty from a field goal standpoint.
Ten yards marched off. Ball placed at the 32-yard line.
Would make a field goal from here a 49-yard attempt. He's got the career long of 50. But Kenny, again, you have to ask yourself, why would you give Junior Seau the opportunity? Why? Look at him. He's crazy. I mean, he plays like a man possessed. Don't run the ball at him. Don't run the ball near him. Throw the football.
Cardinals on the 32-yard line. Play action. Plummer dumps it off to Makovicka. Gains 4. Seau made the tackle. Down at the 27-yard line. Timeout called with 32 seconds remaining as we check in with James Brown.
Kenny and Tim, take a look at Howie's Raiders and what they did to the Giants. The league's best passer, Rich Gannon, hooking up with Tim Brown, one of his 2 touchdown receptions of the day, knocking off the Giants. The Giants fall below 500 to 5-6. Oakland wins it by 18. Back to Kenny and Tim.
So the Raiders 8-2. They will host the Arizona Cardinals next week.
That's right, and you know, JB put his finger on it. Rich Gannon right now, the most efficient passer in the game, but look what he's got to throw to. I mean, he's got Tim Brown up there, and then he's got Jerry Rice, and Jerry Rice is playing the best football I've seen in the last 4 or 5 years. I mean, he has come back, and I know everyone talked about, well, maybe the game was beyond him. He is back in full force.
Chargers called this timeout, Tim, stopping the clock with 32 seconds remaining in a tie ball game. 2 fourth-quarter touchdowns for the San Diego Chargers. And now Jake Plummer on the Cardinals with a 2nd down and 6 from the San Diego 28. Gramatica continues to warm up on the sidelines. Michael Pittman. Pittman falling forward to the 23-yard line. Pittman scored the touchdown, which gave the Cardinals the 17-10 lead earlier this quarter.
I'll tell you, Kenny, Robert Carswell just saved a touchdown because Pittman breaks away from the center of the defense where Seau and everyone else is coming, and Carswell was the only guy there left to stop Michael Pittman from reaching the end zone.
Now the Cardinals let the clock run all the way down.
Yeah.
Looked like they would have had time to run one more play and then send out the field goal unit, but instead they let the clock run all the way down to 4 seconds.
I think that may be homage to Junior Seau, because most times you say, well, look, let's just pick up even a couple more yards. But if you're going to try to hand off, I think that's what Jake Plummer wanted to do. And the old thing about saying, well, you snap it on third down so that if you fumble the snap, you can reload and try again on fourth. That doesn't count when there's only 4 seconds on the clock.
So the rookie out of South Florida, Bill Gramatica, who hit from 18 earlier, will attempt a 42-yard field goal. Chad Stanley is the holder. This is for the win. Now 2 seconds have been added on.
Well, now it makes sense.
Question is, when exactly did the Cardinals call the timeout? So 6 seconds on the clock.
Now that makes sense, because now if you have a fumble the snap, you do get to reload and try it again.
And now the Chargers will call timeout to try and ice Gramatica, the brother of Buccaneers kicker Martin Gramatica. Bill Gramatica, the 4th-round draft pick. He's attempted only 10 field goals all season in 10 games. And he'll have a minute or two to think about this one.
Well, some of the pressure, Kenny, is taken off of him because it's third down. Maybe saying was that called the timeout, and it took some time for the call from one official just to reach the official timekeeper. So because there are 6 seconds left,
the clock reset to 6.
Right. If there's a bad snap, then Chad Stanley will just pull it down and try again.
From 42 yards, Gramatica's kick has the distance. It's good. With 1 second remaining, the Cardinals lead by 3. As they say about his brother, Gramatica, Automatica.
1 second.
And this is what a win for the Arizona Cardinals if they prevail. Don't forget, Mike Riley said one thing he needed to get was something from their kicking game, and Ronnie Jenkins, their kick return, is #1 in the league with 2 touchdowns already this season. So that 1 second may be an important second. And I think the Cardinals are going to want to squib the ball to try to keep it as far away from Ronnie Jenkins as possible,
which they have done today. Special teams the difference. Wade Ritchie missed 2 field goals in the first quarter. Gramatica 2 for 2. And Marte Jenkins of the Cardinals with the 70-yard kickoff return in the third quarter, which led to some points for Arizona.
Think how important this is for Dave McGinnis and his team, Kenny. If they do prevail, it looks like they will, they'll be 4-6. The Giants dropped to 5-6, losing today to the Oakland Raiders. Washington's at 5-5, and Philadelphia will be at 6-4. So Arizona all of a sudden climbs back, not to just respectability, but back into the playoff hunt with a passing game that's looking incredibly potent.
Ronnie Jenkins scoops it up at the 7. And Jenkins is tackled at the 22-yard line. No flags. And the Arizona Cardinals have won their 2nd straight game, only their 2nd win on the road in the last 15. They are now 4-6. The San Diego Chargers have lost their 4th consecutive game as they drop to 5-6 and will visit Seattle next week. So a victory for Dave McGinnis, and the Cardinals will return to San Diego in just a moment.
You're watching the NFL on Fox.
Over the years, I've learned that when something works, you stick with it. There you go. After bypass surgery a few years ago, I needed to lower my cholesterol. My doctor told me about Zocor. He said Zocor, along with a healthy diet and exercise, could really lower my cholesterol. Okay, let's do it again. Taking Zocor every day has kept my cholesterol where it should be and significantly reduces the risk of heart attack among people with high cholesterol and heart disease. That's something to feel good about.
Zocor is a prescription medication and is not for everyone, including women who are nursing, pregnant, or may become pregnant, or people with liver problems. Your doctor may do blood tests to check for liver problems because serious side effects can result. Tell your doctor about any muscle pain or weakness you experience and about any medicines you are taking.
Good job! When diet and exercise aren't enough, ask your doctor about Zocor. Take care of yourself. It's your future. Be there.